This is the beginning.
It's the best Marvel series ever.
Really amazing.
Now on Disney Plus. Don't miss
Steven, what did you do?
the global phenomenon.
We have a deal.
Promise no secrets between us.
God, I wish I could.
Marvel Studios' Moon Knight. New episode streaming Wednesdays. Only on Disney Plus.
Welcome back, everyone. This is going to be my Moon Knight Episode 5 trailer video. There's a whole bunch of Marvel Easter eggs we'll break down. I'll explain what's going on with the Hippo Goddess showing up at the end of Episode 4, the mental hospital, Jake Lockley, and Ammit being unleashed on the main MCU dimension, because it's only going to get crazier in the last 2 episodes. If you're brand new to the channel, be sure to subscribe to get all the videos. We're doing a giveaway for Disney Plus memberships. All you have to do to enter, just be a subscriber and leave your favorite Easter egg or your big question on the video. Careful for spoilers from everything through Moon Knight Episode 4 if you haven't seen the episodes yet too, because we'll be talking about everything that's happened so far. At the end of Episode 4, while Marc Spector was in control of the body, Arthur Harrow shot him twice after he'd found the stone figure of Ammit that the other gods had trapped her in 2,000 years ago. It's the same type of stone figure that we just saw Khonshu get trapped in by the other gods, and they also revealed that there were many other gods from their pantheon that were trapped inside the Great Pyramid. There's a lot of brand new footage inside that Great Pyramid area that we saw during Episode 3, and it seems like it's connected to Ammit and Khonshu coming back. Like anytime you see giant purple smoke or purple power anywhere, even though it does look like Agatha Harkness's purple power, technically in the context of Moon Knight, that means it's Ammit's power. Most of the time in the Marvel productions, like Marvel Phase 4 movies, Disney Plus shows, they try to color code things so that when people are using different types of power, they use different colors to denote where they're getting their power from, that they are different types of power. Like Chaos magic is red, Loki's magic is color-coded green because he uses a different type of magic, so on and so forth. But during Episode 4, there were some really big twists, some really big left turns in the story. So we found out that Alexander the Great of the MCU was Ammit's former avatar, and during that period, he was the one who rebelled against her. He was the pharaoh at the time. So after conquering the known world using her power, they kind of imply that he was able to be so great, quote unquote, do all these great things because he was the avatar of one of the gods. He had godly power. But apparently at the end of his lifespan, after he conquered most of the known world, that's when he learned what Ammit's plan for the rest of the MCU dimension was, and that's when he rebelled against her. But because there is this brand new footage of Arthur Harrow inside the Great Pyramid of Giza with all this purple power billowing everywhere, it seems like that place is connected to her coming back, and we'll see some of that happen during Episode 5. Because the minute that his body spilled into that water, Arthur Harrow probably reached out and grabbed the figurine of Ammit and started continuing to try and bring her back, to release her from that stone figure. There is some footage of both of them flying at each other with their powers activated, like you see him in the Moon Knight costume, and you see Arthur Harrow using his power of Ammit, and they're having a more traditional superhero battle like you would see during Civil War with everybody flying at each other. That implies that at some point Khonshu will be free again, or he finds a workaround that allows him to use the power of Khonshu. I'll explain that too, because technically Khonshu is trapped in the stone figure, so you think that he would be completely cut off from his power. Like they made this big thing in the episode about him not having the healing powers, the healing factor that he got from the suit. But if Ammit has been trapped in the same type of stone figure for the last 2,000 years, then how is Arthur Harrow able to become her avatar and use her power in present day while she's been trapped? So if Arthur Harrow can use her power while she's trapped, that also means that Marc Spector and Stephen Grant, the other personalities like Jake Lockley, can also probably use the power of Moon Knight and Khonshu when Khonshu is trapped. They just haven't realized it yet. A lot of you are asking about that too, like, wait a minute, Ammit's been trapped this whole time. If Alexander the Great was the last avatar, then if she's been trapped, how is Arthur Harrow able to become her new avatar? That's just a clue for Marc Spector realizing how he's still connected to Khonshu even though Khonshu is trapped in that stone figure. That's also one of the reasons why the Hippo Goddess probably showed up to help explain what's actually going on. We also got pretty good confirmation on Jake Lockley being a thing on the show, and he'll just be the next personality, maybe in Episode 5, that we actually see on screen. They did make it seem like we would actually see him at some point during Episode 5. They hinted at him with a couple huge Easter eggs so far. The scene from Episode 4 where he passed that banging person in the sarcophagus was really meant to be obvious though. Back in Episode 3, both Steven and Marc don't know who killed the men with the knife, and it happened after another blackout jump in time, right after Marc Spector had stiffed a cabbie to chase him down.
Steven, what did you do?
I swear it wasn't me.
Then who was it?
Jake Lockley in the comics was originally a gruff cab driver persona of Marc Spector, so they're really trying to bang you in the head with the idea that Jake Lockley persona is going to surface on the show. And apparently he is way stabbier than Marc Spector and Stephen Grant, and he has some of the same skills as Marc Spector. A lot of you now asking, what's going to be different about the Jake Lockley persona though? Like Marc Spector is supposed to be the fighter, he's the mercenary, the person who's more of a traditional superhero type. That's why when they're in the regular Moon Knight costume, it's always him in control of the body, and when it's Stephen Grant, they switch back to the actual suit and tie version of the costume. Does that also mean that it'll be another third type of Moon Knight costume when he's in the Jake Lockley persona? If they're trying to be really accurate to the comics, that means no. They've already changed the comics a little bit, but the whole idea is that when he's in Moon Knight persona, he is in Marc Spector persona. Jake Lockley is just someone that he uses to gather information when he's dressed in plain clothes. The reason why he created Jake Lockley in the comics was to gather information from people on the streets who normally wouldn't reveal things to a millionaire playboy philanthropist, Stephen Grant.
Take that off. What are you?
Genius, billionaire, playboy, philanthropist.
So for example, the reason why Jake Lockley was a cab driver persona is because people will just talk to cab drivers without thinking too much about them. That's why when they hint at Jake Lockley, he stabs all those people, and then when he's acting as Marc Spector, the guy won't tell him and he kills himself by allowing himself to fall off the cliff. I've made the Batman reference before. He's kind of like the Matches Malone version of Marc Spector. Same thing on the Moon Knight series, which is why I don't think we're going to get like a third version of a Moon Knight costume. As many toys as they do want to sell, like if they did create a third different version of a Moon Knight suit, people would totally rush out and buy it. That's one of the other funny things about the TV show too. Right after episode 4 aired, they actually released the actual Marvel action figure, so like you can run out and buy this Moon Knight action figure that you see during the episode. It's a little more obvious during the Star Wars movies and the Star Wars Disney Plus TV shows, like look at this really cool thing. Oh yeah, we have a toy for that we're releasing right now. Rush out and buy it right now. Just you wait for Marvel to release Secret Wars, it's going to be a toy bonanza. People are going to go crazy spending money on new toys. So Jake Lockley will probably just be the more worldly persona who's really quick to violence too. Marc Spector also seems like he doesn't enjoy killing people, and Jake Lockley has no problem in doing it. Like, I'll stab every single one of you till you give me this information. The whole thing with them doing the Hippo Goddess on the show, like they have that big twist at the end of episode 4 where they freak out. Yes, that is the actual MCU version of the goddess that they're seeing in their head at the end of the episode. Remember, they're in the mind space right now, so that's why they're seeing her true depiction, even though she and the other gods that are part of Khonshu's pantheon, including Khonshu, are technically trapped outside the main MCU dimension, in this pocket dimension. Her name is Taweret. They referenced her during episode 1 when Steven was talking about all the different plushies of the gods. So when she shows up, raising her hand inside his head, or inside their head, however you want to think about it, and she's happy to be there, like happy to see them, as if it's no big deal, like this is a common thing, like, hey, what's up? When I talked about next week's episode, I talked about them taking a magical mystery mind space tour. The actress who plays this Hippo goddess said that her goddess represented fertility and birth. She's viewed as more of a kindly, gentle god dealing with the soul, the mind. And what they're probably having her do on the show, based on all the footage that we see, is during episode 5, some of the footage you see is Marc Spector's backstory, like more flashbacks showing him becoming Moon Knight for the first time, making that initial bargain with Khonshu at the foot of his statue. So for at least some of the episode next week, he'll still be trapped in that mind space between life and death, trapped in his own mind, and just like the comic book run of him being trapped in the headspace version of the mental hospital, they'll use his journey with the Hippo Goddess through his past to sort of deal with his past trauma and explain how all the different personas actually became a thing. Like I said too, they'll also probably hint at the idea that he still has access to Khonshu, even though technically Khonshu is trapped in the stone figure. Because if Arthur Harrow has access to Ammit and she's been trapped this whole time, then that means that Marc Spector probably has access too. There were some of you that were also confused about Kang the Conqueror in the episode. He wasn't physically in the episode, like people saw the mental hospital and this figure sitting next to Donna. His character's name on the show is Rossler. He was one of Arthur Harrow's men that we saw previously in episode 4. Kang and his variants, as far as we know, are all played by Jonathan Majors. I know everybody's hoping to see a version of Iron Lad, who's technically played by a different actor who would be a version of Kang in his youth. But the only Kang the Conqueror Easter eggs that we've seen so far in the Moon Knight series are just the connection to the Great Rift, why the gods initially left the MCU, and Kang coming back in time to rule over ancient Egypt as Rama-Tut long before Alexander the Great and before what happened with Ammit being trapped in the stone. But if you spotted any brand new Easter eggs in the trailers that I didn't talk about in the video, just write them below in the comments. My full episode 5 video will post next week after they release it. I've got new Doctor Strange 2 and Thor Love and Thunder videos that I'm working on. Those will post really soon. Make sure you enable alerts for my channel so you don't miss those. Congratulations, Raven Cheng. You're the giveaway winner from my last big video. Please email me on the About page of my channel so I can get your contact details. Everyone click here for my full Moon Knight Episode 4 video, and click here for my full Thor Love and Thunder trailer video and Easter eggs. Thank you so much for watching, everyone stay safe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.